these things in Jesus' name.
And command.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll, please.
Ford.
Here.
Burge. Collins.
Here.
Freeman.
Here.
Hill.
Here.
Lawson.
Here.
Lynch.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Parker.
Here.
Rutherford.
Here.
Recognition of guests. Everybody welcome. I don't know who all's out there that's not normally here, but we welcome everybody. First item is approval of consent agenda. What's the pleasure?
Motion we approve.
Got a motion, got a second. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Ford.
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Freeman.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Lawson.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Rutherford.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next item, we have an addendum. We're going to add 7D3. So approval of the regular agenda. What's the pleasure?
Motion approved.
Got a motion, got a second.
A second.
Any discussion? Call the roll.
Ford.
Yes.
Burge. Collins.
Here. Yes.
Freeman.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Lawson.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Rutherford.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Comments from the chair. The only thing I want to make everybody aware of is I think Miss Ryder's got a banquet next Thursday. Is that right? Next Tuesday.
At 7 o'clock.
Remind everybody of that.
Thank you.
Director's monthly report.
Yes. I have a letter I'd like to read, today's April 20, 2012. Dear Director Poston, I want to share my gratitude to you, your board, and most of all to your students for reaching out to the student body at Anderson County High School in the wake of the horrible automobile accident involving 5 of our students in March. You and the students from Campbell County High School are to be commended for your acts of kindness and thoughtfulness in placing a banner showing concern for the AC5 at the gate of the high school. It's very moving to see communities, schools, and staff come together when pain and hurt occurs as it did following this unfortunate accident. There is great pride instilled in me when students compete against each other on the football field or basketball court, yet put that aside to display their love and kindness when their peers are hurting. I express my sincere thanks and appreciation to you and your board for having a first-class student body at Campbell County High School. Sincerely, Larry M. Foster, Director of Schools in Anderson County. It's a very nice gesture on his part. Also, I'd like to invite you all to Campbell County High School. Sunday, May the 13th, they're having an arts display. Geo Green's art class from 2 to 4 o'clock. We'll be there in the Commons. That's May the 13th. And also, asked to make a comment about recent comments that I made during my state of school address, and got really good response from some of the things across the county that we shared. And I made a statement at the end of the address that come June the 30th, I was, step aside and help make the transition for the other person, and I still mean that about that time I'm here, and that's what happens. I don't have a clue where I'm going to be this time tomorrow. I'm in someone else's hands. I just wanted to let you know that I was making a comment based on attractions, not the fact. I even made a comment. I said, if the board doesn't want me to stay or go home sooner than that. But I love serving the kids in this county, and if that's my lot in life to serve sooner or even go beyond that, then I'm in someone else's hands. So I'm just saying this, I'm willing to serve as long as God wants me to serve.
Carol? Yes, thanks. Next item, recognize Jeff Morris.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Beginning with the monthly financial report in the packet. Through the period ending March 31st, we have cash with the trustee, $8.59 million, almost $8.6 million. Come over a couple of pages. You'll see the revenue production, 79.8% of realization. And you'll notice at the top of that page that the current property tax is a 99 percentile, which should indicate that we will collect 100% of the current property tax estimate. If you come over one more page, you'll see the appropriation utilization at 68.3%, 27, almost $28 million of $41 million appropriated. So a little better than 11 points to the good through the period ending March 31st. And as we talked about before, this will continue to grow through the April 30th report. And then when you get your May 31st report, you'll see a great decline because of the payouts for the 5 teacher checks that happen next week. The Federal Project School Fund cash trustee of $383,000. And a couple pages over, you can see your revenues and expenditure analysis. 66.3% of realization on your revenue, 4.17 of the 6.3 million, and 4.17 of the 6.3 million, 66. So 0.3 of 1 percentage point to the good. Those should be in balance with each other as you see month to month. And then the final one, the Central Cafeteria Food Service Fund, cash trustee up about $911,000, and revenues at 73.2%, appropriations 72.9%. So almost exactly break even. And remember, we were a little to the good last month, and as we issue some of the purchase orders associated with the outlay of the equipment, that brings those percentages a little tighter to each other. So all in all, it looks good through March 31st. I answer any questions you may have with either of those three. If not, get a motion to approve all three funds.
What's the pleasure?
Jeff, I've got a question.
Sure.
On the wheel tax, is that common for it to be about 70% at this point?
And roller coasters in that May and June are your two biggest renewal months historically. We do forecasting on it based upon previous year's information. In the present year, we're a little more difficult to project because if you remember, this is our first full year of the $45 rate as opposed to the $35 rate. So we have a little bit of difficulty. It appears to me that it's going to be a small amount short, but again, I won't know until the very end. The largest single month is the month of June. So like everything else here, like the tax sale coming up in May, all comes right down to the very end. I don't think it'll be more than 5% off if it's off that much, in my opinion.
We want to talk about wheel tax. One quick question, Mr. Marlowe. Has the wheel tax ever been used for anything other than transportation, i.e. salary increases or anything in the past? Or are they now in the budget that way?
Wheel tax isn't marked for anything specific other than for school fund utilization. So it is.
So it's not particularly goes to transportation.
It does not, correct. And never has.
And never has. And it could be used for salary
Sure.
increases.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What's the pleasure? Have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a second? Second. Got a question? Call the roll.
Warren,
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Creekmore.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Lawson.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Rivera.
Yes.
Our next item is the monthly budget amendments. We only have 3 budget amendments this month, and none of them are very material. The last one is about $14,000 additional special ed state grant money. The others are $2,500 and $3,500 basically amendments. If you want me to, I'll go through them with you individually. If not, just get a motion to approve all 3 of them.
What's the pleasure?
Make a motion to approve the budget amendments.
Second.
Now, any questions?
I have a question. The $790 is Is that going to the alternative school line item, or is that going somewhere else?
It will be appropriated for the regular school utilization number. If you look at that amendment, I have all of it combined into just another charges line item, so it can be utilized in any way that.
So if we choose to use that on the alternative school, we have no problem?
Yes, without any problem.
Right.
Call roll.
Horn.
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Creekmore.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Lawson.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Rutherford.
Yes.
Item C, we have one bid to review, and that's the furniture and design for Jellicoe High School. We solicited for bids on the 5th of April, received and opened bids on the 1st of May. And as you have noted in Vicky's letter that's attached, we solicited from 10 vendors. We only received a bid from one vendor, School and Office Supply, $92,547. Recommendation is to School and Office Supply as the only bidder. It's also a recommendation of Vicky, School Nutrition Supervisor, and she has her letter attached there to dated May 1, 2012.
Can I get a motion to approve? Item C.
Motion approved.
Motion, have a second. Now any discussion? Call roll.
Horn.
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Creekmore.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Lawson.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Rutherford.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item D1, for ask permission to advertise for technology computer bids for the upcoming 12-13 school year.
What's the pleasure?
Motion approved.
Motion, have a second.
Second.
Any questions? Call roll.
Horn.
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Creekmore.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Lawson.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Parker. Rutherford.
Yes.
Item 2, request permission to advertise bids on surplus school nutrition equipment. And you'll notice in your packet, there's a detailed listing that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages in length, several different pieces of equipment. There are 46 items in total on the list, and some of them are pretty large items, ovens, freezers, refrigerators, convection ovens, stands, tables. So we'd like to get a permission to advertise those as surplus equipment for bid.
All right, what's the pleasure?
Motion approved. Second.
Second. Any questions? Call roll.
Horn.
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Creekmore.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Lawson.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Rutherford.
Yes.
Item 3 was added by addendum to section D, and request permission to advertise bids for custodial and janitorial supplies for the upcoming 12-13 school year.
All right, what's the pleasure?
Motion approved. Second.
Any questions? Call roll.
Horn.
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Creekmore.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Lawson.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Parker. Rutherford.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item E, we don't have anything, Mr. Chairman, and item F, just to recognize Ms. Coleman.
Thank you, Jeff. Okay. Send out an email.
No monthly reports at this time due to several schools still expecting a bank statement. We're starting to wind it down. It is my plans, I've already made appointments for several schools to go in and do a mini audit. I intend on touching every piece of paper in their bookkeeping files. If they've received something that says donation, I want to make sure they've got the donation form from the manual to back it up. Once we close everything out, of course, the bookkeepers, with the exception of myself and one other, they're all gone 2 weeks after school's out. They return 2 weeks before school starts. We will close it down, then as of June 30th, when the bookkeepers come back, we will start on the countywide chart of accounts, which I presented to you all in March. If you have any more recommendations, let me know. I am working with Richard Hill on those, and so far, the school bookkeepers, they like the new chart of accounts and feel like everything's been covered at this point. So, any questions?
Once you get the reconciliations, you'll send us copies, I guess.
Yes, if the final 4 schools close out tomorrow, you will get those by email tomorrow for April.
Any questions for Pat?
Thank you.
All right, item for action A, approved fence project with Paul Elementary approved in building committee, building and finance committee, proposed cost $4,770, $44.70. Capital outlay, you want to talk about that?
Yes, this is a safety issue, should have been put in when they built the building. Ms. Arnold has requested this, we discussed it at length. And I move that we approve this.
Got a motion to approve. Wait, call the roll.
Ford,
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Creedmoor,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Rutherford.
Yes.
Item B, approve change of exterior locks for Pollock Middle School as approved in building and finance committee, proposed cost $2,224. What's the pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I got a question. Why would we have to change all the locks down here
It comes to your,
Because there's about probably 200 keys out there. Who knows how many? There's just so many people that has keys in the locks. And what we intend to do, this
now?
somebody,
Somebody dropped the ball, they should have keys out, didn't they?
absolutely. And there's people that can get into the gymnasium. This is a concerted effort too, to not only do this school, but if there's any other schools that possibly, the next one we're looking at is Campbell County High School. Because it's got the same problems, but it's maybe a substantial cost up there.
Looks like we could change the locks on the main doors entrance and wouldn't have to change them on all the inside.
No, we're not changing
Just
inside.
the exterior.
No, these are just the exterior.
Well, can you, okay, I know.
These are just the exterior.
Gotcha.
And no interior.
Okay.
And we think this is probably the most problem area. And this goes along too with trying to get control of our buildings so that we can have a better handle on it for the energy savings.
Donnie, how are you going to be issuing keys going forward?
Now, the way we did it in the offices, and I'm going to use the other schools, when someone receives a key, they have to sign for that key. That's where we're doing our office. We know who's got keys.
One other note, they can't make a key around here. You have to go to Knoxville. Once these locks are installed, get a key.
Having doors, whatever it's called.
Plus the security, it's another step in the schools too.
Absolutely.
So it's making sure.
All right, what's the pleasure? Motion, second. All right. Call the roll.
Ford,
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Creedmoor,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Rutherford.
Yes.
Item C, approve outdoor restroom facilities at Pollock Middle School as approved in the building and finance committee, at a cost of $18,000. What's the pleasure? Got a motion to approve, and a second.
I say.
Now, any discussion?
This just is something we've already approved months ago, but we didn't allocate the money. We agreed to this when we did that capital outlay, whenever we did all the different.
Broke it out.
Yeah,
They're going to be similar to Jacksboro Middle School.
exactly like that.
All right.
This is being done through the guys on the hill.
Yes, they want to do 9%.
All right, call the roll.
Ford,
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Creedmoor,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Rutherford.
Yes.
You, item D, approve elementary basketball schedule as approved in the athletic committee. Mr. Creedmoor, do you want to cover that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think what the big concern, John, you helped me on this, was we were having so many games a night, elementary, middle school, the principals, and parents were concerned that we just have too many games. So you've got detailed just on Tuesdays, right, for elementary games.
What we had the middle schools and the elementary schools both playing on the same night, and that was putting some, some teams not getting back to their school around 10:30 or 11. What we've done now is all elementary games, this is K through 6, we play on Tuesday nights. Middle school games, we play on Thursday nights. Once the elementary season is over with, after Christmas, then the middle schools can pick up that Tuesday night to finish up their season.
All right, what's the pleasure?
So moved.
Have a motion, have a second?
Second.
All right, call the roll.
Warwick.
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Creekmore.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Lawson.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Rutherford.
Yes.
Item E, approve elementary basketball rules as approved in the athletic committee. Want to cover those?
So the manager done on that,
If I got any questions, Mr. Bruce, about that?
Johnny, have you had a chance to talk to the principals on the schedule and the rules, and are they comfortable with it? Yes, Josh, that was one of the things I did to start, before we even started the scheduling, is I got, the input from all the principals to see how they felt about it. And we also have an athletic committee, which consists of coaches and principals, and we brought those people in, get their input, so.
All right, what's the pleasure?
make motion to approve.
Motion, have a second?
Second.
Any other questions? Call the roll.
Warwick.
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Creekmore.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Lawson.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Parker. Rutherford.
Yes.
Item F, approve athletic committee recommendation regarding placement of coaches.
This was basically you're giving the chance for the school employees to be the coach rather than just, we appreciate the volunteer coaches, but the principal, can be over someone in their building or the supervisor. So it's kind of, I don't know how it would work, John. Anybody, volunteer coaches, and anybody apply for the job.
We took, and what we have right now, Jack, is running it on our county website, all the schools that have volunteer coaches and the openings. And if they're interested in a job, they would get in touch with the principal.
I have a question that they've asked me, like if they place a volunteer coach, and if they're an employee, then what if they ask their wife or their husband to coach and they're not even coaching that much? What do you do then?
That's a good question. That would be something that'd be up to the principal, if they have an employee and they've given them the job as the coach, then you would assume that would be a person that would be covered for team. Because they really want to be getting paid.
And then the other question is like, ever who applies for the job, of course, I'm sure the principal or somebody will interview those. And then it'll come down maybe to one or something, and then the principal makes the decision and refers it on into county post.
Yes.
And then they'll come back and have a list for the board to vote on. That's all I do think about.
Jack, the positions that are on the website right now, is that it? Is that all the ones that we have open right now?
That's all the ones that I've been notifying.
Josh, it could be, several. I think Joey St. John had called me today about the golf team at Jacksonville Middle School and also the cheerleading sponsor. So far, Johnny, I want to see Campbell County High School golf coach, Jacksonville Middle cheerleading and golf, Jellicoe Elementary girls and boys basketball coach, Jellicoe Elementary middle school football coach, cheerleading coach, and golf, Elk Valley Elementary middle girls basketball, boys, and Carroll girls basketball. Is that pretty much all that's open right now?
All right, what's the pleasure? Have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
non-conflict with the coaching recognition list all we've seen. So it's my privilege to list this basketball coach at Jackson Middle School.
Thank you. All right, call the roll.
Ford,
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Creekmore,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Rutherford.
Yes.
Motion passed. Thank you.
Next item G, approve Valley View Elementary School as host to the 2012-13 countywide basketball tournament. What's your pleasure?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Ford,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes.
Creekmore,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Rutherford.
Yes.
Next item, items for discussion, discuss again supply note. Creekmore.
I should have asked you before we made to remove this, because we had talked with the principal, and she was gonna, they had a safety issue there where the swing set is pretty much right out in the parking lot, but she's, want to get the maintenance to move the swing set to the behind the school. So she doesn't want the fence, so. It's the right thing to do.
Thank you. Discuss legal matters. Campbell?
I only have one matter, Mr. Chairman. And I previously submitted or given a copy of the ruling on the suspension of the principal at Jellicoe Middle School to all of you. The appeals time has passed. I've provided a copy because we've gotten a lot of press inquiries on this matter to the press that's here. I'm going to leave 3 more with Gail so that she can give to any of the Minneapolis that weren't here. The appeals time has passed, so this is now a final ruling. As you can see, the hearing officer, Mr. Billingsley, was pretty detailed. He went over and linked the 3 different activities that the principal, Mr. Crawford, had committed. The first one that resulted in no suspension that he admitted to as far as the mismanagement of funds. The second one, when he allowed the individual to come on to school grounds that was a close personal friend that had an order of protection against him, which resulted in a 2-day suspension with pay. And then the third one, which essentially, and what came out well in this report was that he was not suspended for the sexual assault, but he was suspended for lying about it during the terms of the investigation. And the hearing officer, I thought, wrote a scathing critique of Mr. Crawford's performance during the investigation process. The only witness that he actually called on his behalf was his mother, and it was almost too bizarre to be believed. And he basically said that in this thing that the mother was trying to allege that this was a vendetta against her and that that was just ridiculous. So this was as strong a ruling as that you could have received. I want to compliment Mr. Poston and his staff who stayed here until about 11 o'clock that evening in this very room as we prosecuted it. So it is now over. The suspension was upheld. This was a step suspension, so in theory, any other activity that occurs this school year would be subject to a dismissal. And since he's a 1-year contracted employee, all of this would affect whether or not his contract is renewed for the next year. You're not tenured into the principalship, but this was a pretty severe finding. And I know we've got a lot of calls from the media about it, so I made these available, and I'll give those to Gail. Are there any questions that you all have for me?
John? Thank you, Dale.
That's all I have.
Committee reports, update from Education Committee. Building Committee.
The building trades classes have ended their work that they'll be doing at East Fallen Alternative. They've done just an outstanding job. When they get back in school next year, I'd like to recognize them one night, if it's okay. And now the remaining amount of work will be done with maintenance, which they're working every day. Some of them, they've got other things to do. We hope we can still meet our deadline, get it done by the end of July. It's looking real good. The project with Jellicoe is coming along real well, Jellicoe Edition. And we do have some concerns about assessment. And if that's the case, it's going to be pretty intense. So I'm just bringing that, I brought that up before, and she's put that in her report, she wants that. So we're going to have to see what that entails. It's not nothing we would want, but we're going to have to see. Yes. Yes, sir. So we'll be getting you information at our building committee on the 21st. We'll know more about that. And also, I've submitted to Mr. Bruce, and I think Mr. Bruce has gotten it to Mr. Poston. We hope to have a policy submitted from them at the building committee meeting on the building usage recommendation, and we can discuss it again at that building committee meeting. I would like to try to finalize that then and bring it before the board in June so that we can get that enacted for next year. Right, and let Mr. Campbell look at that and see what all we can and can't do, and then present that at that meeting. So I would encourage everyone that can be at the next building committee meeting on the 21st. I would like your awesome
6 o'clock.
Yeah, 5:30 input on that, because it's been, it's a pretty good, intense topic, and I'd like to have everyone involved on it. Other than that, that's all I have.
Your athletic committee? Finance?
We've got a meeting scheduled for 5:30. Right now, the only thing we would have on the agenda for that night is hopefully we'll be, Donnie's going to give us some information, and hopefully Jeff will be able to be there, or Richard, when we talk about the budget, the upcoming budget for the year. So if you're interested in that, make plans to be here 29th at 5:30.
Want to start putting my calendar?
Yeah, let me remind you.
Yeah. Marketing committee, we don't have anything this time. Recognize school board members, Mr. Lawson. Lynn.
I have, I'm glad Mr. Marlowe's still here. A question on that field house over there we got started, and it's coming along real good. Appreciate what we've done. But more along the line, I didn't find out about it until here a couple of weeks back. We've left out those 2 restrooms and the concession stand on top of the hill there. But when we was over there, and they was doing this, Stan was there and everybody, and we'd all agreed on it. But when the Fritz called up, it's nothing. The contractors don't even know what I'm talking about.
Sarge, I don't even, I'm sorry, but I didn't even know what the scope of the work entailed over there, and I don't know what scope got approved or anything else.
I don't know, but,
Do you know who was it that made up any type of preliminary scope for the board to approve before it said go to bid? I don't.
I can address this. We did meet over there, and that was early on, to try to get this project started. It's my recollection that after we agreed to go ahead with the addition and hopefully be able to restore the bathrooms in the main building too, that it was discussed that we would then work with trying to get some donations for the bathrooms and everything up on the field. We did have a building committee meeting. We did discuss that. What we agreed to do was to get the plans drawn up for the addition with a option to go ahead and do the bathrooms. There was never anything written up that I'm aware of that included those up on the field.
well,
And if we did that, it was nothing intentionally, and that's my understanding.
I always wanted to remodel the bathrooms in the gym there, where it's at right now, on account of basketball. But now you could take that football field, it's, we're gonna have to have about 30, 40 more steps.
Right.
Going right to the field, we built that field up about 10, 12 feet. Now, there's no restrooms up there. They've got to come down at least 80 or 90 steps to get into a restroom at the ball game. That's a safety hazard to begin with, walking down all those steps.
I'll be glad to put it on the 21st meeting and discuss if we want to fund that. But I'm just telling you how we got to this point. It was never considered at that point.
I never was aware of the fact that those restrooms wasn't included on this contract for that building.
The restrooms in the
It
main
wouldn't make sense to build the building down here and not have no restrooms up here. There's no facilities whatsoever for those players, for the people in the stands.
Rector,
I did take three of those old bleachers over here from Oak Carroll School. I got the maintenance, or we got the maintenance to take them to Jellicoe over there, but they put them on the Buster side, and they make them mad, but they'll have some over there. But see, I know we didn't put in for the bleachers, I knew that, but we was gonna do that later.
one of the things that I'll mention, and you may all consider this, I don't know, the field has several linear foot of drain pipe underneath it that runs in 3 different directions and areas. And depending upon where you were to attempt to locate bathroom facilities, that's going to make a significant difference getting back out to tie into city sewer, how you get your piping down there, because one of the pipes comes down if you're at the school, at the door, and you're looking up on the hill, up the steps you're talking about, to your left, a pipe comes down all the way around the far left-hand side. Another pipe comes down the far right-hand side, and there's one that comes down almost the center and ties in. And then when you get down where the road goes up to it, they come together and go down and tie back in to the pipe that is already there at the road. You know where that you had the washout come around the school and fixed that in one spot there back about a year and a half ago? That ties into that drain that goes underneath the road and goes into the creek and right on down toward Burl Street.
I don't,
I just say that you'll have to take that into consideration as you
I
size.
believe that septic line over there, Jeff, right across from, I can't think of the name, it's a janitor, I can't think of his name. Charles, give us money. We could tie into that line, it's a city line.
Yeah, where does that come up to, where depend on where you take your facilities up on the
Up
field?
on the hill, they've been right up here, and all they have to do is dig a ditch down through there and run that line and go into the blacktop there.
Yeah.
There'll be no problem on that. I don't see it. I'm not no engineer, of course, but,
Yeah, all I mentioned that for is you want to be sure to size that in so you don't end up tearing right
but
into
we are
your
gonna have
surface drain
something
pipe.
there for those, I'd hate to put an outdoor toilet up there, like Reynolds, John's, or whatever they are.
He's gonna put on the building committee.
Okay. Be glad to.
Okay, anything else, Mr. Coffin? Anything else, sorry?
No, that's all I have.
Mr. Hill?
Where are we with the procedure, policy procedure manual?
Hill sent me a text yesterday. We'll have the first half in June. We'll review it in June. That's great. Parker?
We are working with Officer Longard to schedule another safety committee meeting, hopefully that towards the end of May. Gil's been helping with that, talking with Officer Longard, planning that, in conjunction with Mr. Bruce, so hope to have a date for you all here in the next few days or so. May is a busy month with so many awards and things going on, and maybe there's some more plans, so we'll see what we can do with that. No plans.
Just one thing for Mr. Close to know. I know that we last year talked about this Principals Academy. I think you've got some additional thing going there. I would hope that we start focusing on getting people in the pipeline on that and really focusing on getting a good program started on that.
We discussed that at our superintendent's meeting, and our 3 systems that have one starting in place. They were encouraging their systems to do that. Now, one of them is strictly has it open for their assistant principals. And the other two offices, we have it open for those that have experiences in administration supervision that only want to get into principalships. That won't work.
One other thing, if I could be no curious.
Yes, sir.
It's been like this for a couple of years, and I don't know why we neglected it. But that parking lot, I'm not asking you to pave it, don't get me wrong. At White Oak School. I thought I was gonna have to put my truck in four-wheel drive up our Friday to get out of it.
I heard that.
Huh?
I heard that they were getting some money.
Well, now, I know they can't pay me, right? I know that, I understand that, money's short. But now, what about this old pitch and tire they used to do? You know, put the tire down there and throw gravel on it? What would that cost? Do you have any idea?
It costs about a third of asphalt cost. Historically, we can do a mile of road for about $67,000, and we can do a mile of tar and chip for about a third to a little less than a half.
$20,000.
Yeah, somewhere $25,000.
I talked to him on and I called Mr. Potter today. He's going up there one day this week and look at it and see what he can do. And we'll go in.
One of the things that, when I went to White Oak as a kid, is you get out on the end of the parking lot and go toward the church. That's where the old silt bed, sewage bed is located. And I don't know where that you ran into your problem, but the further you go toward the church, that end of the parking lot, it's soft in there.
Yeah, I know, where they've had it blacked out before, it's all broke up there in the middle.
Yeah, and there's a reason it's soft in there, because that's the old,
To the left, get out of it, or you got to go to the right.
drain field is in there, the old drain field.
But he's gonna look at it and tell us what he can do. That's all I have to say.
All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
We'll move.